Hello everyone, welcome to Career School. Running Career School, many people ask me to check their resume. Sometimes people just ask for feedback, and sometimes people even ask me to fix it for them. This ranges from random people I don't really know asking for help on LinkedIn to my close friends seeking help for their resumes. I realize that I haven't really covered any content on my channel about resume writing. To be honest, I thought there is a lot of awesome content out there that I didn't really need to share my own tips. Until my former manager / mentor asked me to update his resume for him. I was flattered that he considered me as an expert and thought it might be the time to actually go over this. So in this video, I want to share my 6 tips to get your resume noticed by the hiring manager or the recruiter. But before we start, if you're new to this channel, my name is Young and I mostly talk about big tech, MBA, and career development so that you and I both can grow in our careers. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit that like button as it really helps me to create more content like this. Let's get started with the resume tips. Tip 1, template. So first thing is first, I would like to talk about templates. One thing to know is that there is no right or wrong template, and I have seen so many different types of resumes over the past couple of years. I don't know how others feel about this, but I will say that keep it simple and basic when it comes to resume templates. Especially if you're not applying for a creative role like UX designer, executive producer, or something similar to those roles. A resume is your first impression to the hiring team, and for many people who do not know you well, I think the content should tell who you are instead of the graphics or the color of the resume. Whenever I get a resume that is in a fancy template, I get distracted by it versus thinking, oh wow, this resume is so cool looking. So I would let the content tell the story versus your template. Speaking of templates, I have attached some link to the template that I use in the description below, which in fact I got during my MBA at UNC. So I would recommend you check it out and take advantage of it. Tip number 2, content. Many people ask me if they should add an objective or purpose in their resumes. Short answer to that is never. Again, this is my personal thought. I mean, if you're the hiring team or hiring manager, would you care to check someone's super vague objective? Or focus more on what the person has actually done? I would say the latter. In terms of the content, I would say keep it simple and have experience, education, and additional in your resume. I think experience and education is pretty straightforward. So let's talk about additional. On top of the certificates, patents, award, language you speak that you want to add there, I always include something personal that can initiate a conversation with the interviewer. For example, I have YouTube content creator as one bullet point, and a few things I'm really passionate about, including scuba diving, soccer, and traveling. I think it's always important to have that human element, so I would encourage you to add something that can show the personal side of you as well. Tip number 3, theme. I think every job you have been in should tell the right story with the right theme. Resume tells your professional story on behalf of you, and that is the first impression the hiring team gets. You should obviously add the most impactful work and or project that you have done in your resume, but they should all have some sort of theme or meaning. So to give you an example, using my resume, my story for the associate product manager role that I was in right after graduating from our college should be telling a different story with the manager product marketing role that I am currently in. The people manager role that I am currently in should be telling a story about setting vision, building and leading a team, as well as mentoring people. Whereas the associate product manager role I was in more than 10 years ago should tell a story about working with cross-functional teams and delivering results. This exercise of what story you want to tell for each of the roles you add to your resume will help you identify what bullet points to add and show your career progression as well. Tip number 4, customize. I always tell people to customize a resume to be tailored for the role that you are applying for. The best way to tailor it for the role is to check the job description. I usually copy the whole job description and paste it to a separate doc and start highlighting the parts that I think are important or that aligns with my skills or experience. One of the tricks that I use is to have my own resume bullet point bank and swap them based on the role that I am applying for. So for example, I would have a different content for the one that I would apply for marketing roles versus product manager or tech roles. I would move the work closely with engineering teams or build tech roadmap on top of the list when it comes to product manager role, and would have messaging, marketing type of bullet points to the top when it comes to marketing roles. If you don't think it makes sense to customize your resume for every single role you're applying for, just test it with the roles that you really want and see if doing so make any difference. Tip number 5, data. When it comes to each bullet point, please always add some sort of quantifiable impact at the end. The best way to do this is to have a dollar amount, but I know that it's not always possible to do so. The ones that I can think about are monetary impact, like dollar amount, time saving, cost saving, and org structure changes. Additionally, I think it really helps when you make it concise and specific by adding the when as well. Things like in Q3, in 2021, or year-over-year would make it seem more real and provide clarity. Adding data will make your resume really stand out and show that you are a person who is data-driven as well. Tip number 6, action verb. Always start your bullet point with an action verb. This was a new concept for me, but there are action verbs that you can use for each of the actions you took. Action verbs help to create an impact when you're delivering information to another reader. The action verbs give the reader a clear understanding of what is happening. When used in your resume, action verbs will help the application package stand out from other resumes. I'm sharing a doc that has a good number of action verbs so that you can use it for your resume. Please check out the link in the description. Yeah, that was all for today. Please leave a comment if you have any questions or if you want me to cover any topic for my next content. We'd really appreciate if you can subscribe and like, and thank you so much for watching.